Hello everyone and welcome back to the Aero League Racing Esports League for Season 4 round number 3 here at Autopolis. For the third round of this championship, my name's Nathan, your commentator for this evening. And you join us in free practice, the build-up before the main event. We are currently just waiting on the drivers to fill the lobby and then we can get our 10-minute qualifying session underway. Autopolis, let's talk a little bit about the track whilst these drivers are setting some practice laps. 4.6 kilometres or 2.9 miles, first built in the 90s and has remained as this layout ever since, but due to poor funding and its rather remote location, it hasn't really excelled in many well-known forms of motorsport. It has hosted Super Formula and Super GT and a couple of MotoGP events in Superbikes, I believe, but apart from that it failed to make its headway in Formula 1. However, it is still commonly used for open wheel racing, and we're using the track for these GT3 cars this evening. Now, in the last couple of races, lag has been a bit of a talking point, but tonight it is looking stable as we've already got cars going side by side down the start-finish straight in towards the first corner, practicing their overtakes in this practice session. We should see times in the 44s, maybe even the 43s, I think. When we get to qualifying, I'm not sure what the race pace will be like. Tyre wear, I expect it to be relatively high, so we might see more of the medium compound tyre being the predominant tyre choice here tonight, as opposed to the soft or even the hard compound tyre. It's a very technical circuit, is Autopolis. And so overtaking is difficult but not impossible, and soft compound tyres will probably have quite a big advantage over that of the medium. However, due to its medium speed corners, its prolonged radius corners, we could see a couple of issues with the front tyres, and that could be the talking point of today's race. Similarly with Deep Forest Raceway, that race was won on strategy, drivers putting in different levels of fuel, going for different tyre options, getting them towards the front of the field and staying out of trouble. However, tonight strategy may be more of a tyre concern rather than track position. Track position will also be important. Like I said, the main key overtaking opportunity is only really down towards the first corner or even the hairpin at turn 10, but besides that there isn't any other corners that stand out as a great opportunity to go for a move. We are just waiting on one more driver to join the lobby, and I will do my best to try and work out which driver that is, otherwise it's going to be a long evening for us if we're waiting for one and we don't know who that solo fella is. I just had to check that my mic was actually on for a second, because everything was off when I started. My controller mic was off, my actual microphone was off, and the allow audio was off. So hopefully you guys can hear me and I'm not just talking to myself. And I do realise the kind of contrast of asking people if you can hear me, because if you can't hear me, you don't know I'm asking you if you can hear me. So it doesn't really work if you can't hear me, but if you can hear me, then that's perfect. It is 8 o'clock. GMT, so we should hopefully be starting relatively soon, but we are just waiting for one, I believe. Hello and welcome to the viewers that are tuning in to the stream early on. Project Racing United only have 2 cars. That is great news, otherwise we'd be here all night. which means we can actually get to qualify started pretty soon. Just gonna get everything up and ready. Should have probably done this beforehand. Hello, 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 and welcome to everyone joining us live for round 3 of the Esports League. Everything is good to go. We are set to begin. Let's not enter, otherwise that would be a disaster. But it's time to start qualifying. I'm going to get myself set and ready. Dust off the old setup. And let these drivers do what they do best. I am a terrible qualifier, which is why I stick in the commentary box. Honestly, if there was a championship based on qualifying, I'd finish pretty much stone dead last 95% of the time. But our drivers are beginning to leave the pit lane and hit the circuit for their first outlap of the session, and we can look to see what sort of lap times we expect to see tonight. Like I said earlier, 1 minute 44s I think will be the aim for most of these drivers. Some may even find themselves into the 1:43s is what I've been told, but then again that could have been a lie. We'll have to wait and see. Let's go through what teams we have joining us in this lobby tonight. Of course, this is only qualifying. A reminder of the format for any new viewers. It's a 10-minute qualifying session across 2 lobbies with equal conditions. No wind, same weather, same track condition. And so it's the job of the 30 drivers that we have across Lobby A and Lobby B to set the fastest lap times that they can pull off in 10 minutes of qualifying. The top 15 will go to Lobby A, and the bottom 15 will be stuck with me in Lobby B. Of course, there are more points in Lobby A when it comes to the race, so it's everyone's aim to get themselves into the top lobby and score some points for their team. And of course, the top 5 teams take part in the final 2 races of the season. Here tonight we have Spider GT, Aero GT Racing, 9 projects. Oh, sorry, I've accidentally closed that off. 9 Pegasus and Apex and Project Racing United are the 5 teams that we have in Lobby B. But of course, that may change. Drivers will be promoted. Some drivers might be promoted. The first of the Apex drivers, Fluffy Butt, leads the field away on his first flying lap and will set the benchmarker for the rest of the drivers behind. Let's ride on board with the Aston Martin V12 Vantage and give you a rundown of a lap of Autopolis. Going through the kink of turn 2, in towards a heavy braking zone, turn 3, looking for his braking board on the left hand side, keeping it nice and tight on the inside of the middle of the circuit because you've got to swing it left for a double left-hander of turn 4 and 5 and an awkward hairpin of turn 6. You find yourself often in the middle of the track, but he does well to hook up the apex nicely. Early on the power, shifting through the gears before approaching 100R. Turn 8, a long swooping left-hander that really destroys the front left tyre, screaming for grip. And he's now flat out through the kink of turn 9, looking out for his marker on the right-hand side. 50-metre board, late on the brakes, hooking up that apex on the inside. Doesn't just choose to use all the track on the outside, but due to the sort of angle of the curb, of the corner, sorry, you don't really find yourself drifting wide too much. Nearly flat through the downhill right-hander of turn 12 before swinging it into another medium-speed right-hander that destroys, this time, the front left. The tricky technical final sector, an awkward double right-hander, turn 14 and 15, misses the first apex but hits the apex beautifully, using all the curb available on the outside, hooking up the middle of the track because you get yourself back to the left before swinging it right and towards the penultimate corner, the second hairpin, and the final corner, turn 18, brings you up to the start-finish line, but he bails and goes into the pits. Behind Mortal, Velas, goes provisional pole, but is beaten by Owen Williams, who sets the banker for provisional pole 44.6, but that's just about beaten by Auto Rachelon and the Austrian going onto provisional pole. Apex Hollywood going up into second, Nomina going into just outside the top 8. Atom Grimdo up into second behind his Spider GT teammate Luigi, and nearly into the 143s. 44.1 is the provisional pole time. The Lamborghini might be a very decent car choice here tonight. Good on the front end grip and not many too long straights that can be exploited at. So Luigi 3/10 clear of his teammate. Apex drivers are looking high up the grid as well. Auto Rachelon bringing up Project Racing United into the top 3. Thankfully now I have a list of the drivers and the teams that they are racing for, so it's no longer a shot in the dark for me trying to figure out who's racing for what team. Lord Alistair racing for 9 Pegasus on his second flying lap. 2/10 down through sector 2, and I think these tyres may only be good enough for 1 lap. Of course the fuel load will be depleting as these drivers set their lap times, but I think that there's just not enough grip to do two flying laps and improve. You can see a little bit wide in the Lexus. The Lexus not really gripping up on the fronts as much as he had hoped for. So he makes his way through the final sector. Someone sounded like they hit the wall pretty hard. Not sure who or where that was. As Owen makes his way into the pits, and yes, the leaders are coming into the pits at the end of their first flying lap. It's a busy pit lane here at Autopolis. Only a couple of drivers stay out. That's a Nomina going into 7th place with a 45.1. He improves by 0.3 of a second, but is still a second off provisional pole. Luigi stays out, but he's exactly 0.3 off of his flying lap, and will probably be into the pits to do 1 or 2 final push laps at the end of this qualifying session. And just to compare the provisional pole time in Lobby A at the minute, to 43.7 compared to our 44.1. So there's 0.4 between the two, but of course that does mean that these top drivers could filter into the midfield or towards the back of Lobby A. Not sure where the cut-off point is at the minute. We'll have to wait and see when Lobby A finishes. We've started a couple of, I think, 1 minute ahead, so that's 1 up for Lobby B. But a lot of these drivers are on out laps or in laps, so we've not got much on-track action. Some off-track action as well. I think that's Owen going out of the way for Atom Grin, who looks like he might be on a... He's just set a 44.1, which puts him 0.5 off his teammate. Nearly drops the car through the middle sector. I think the Finn will be into the pits at the end of this lap, which means I think Owen, he's let a couple of drivers through. I'm trying to find who will be the first driver who's not coming into the pits and will set a lap time. It might be Fluffy Bat. In fact, he might actually be on a lap. Not a competitive one compared to... Oh no, he does improve, sorry. That 44.8 does go into the top 6 with that. 0.7 off pole position. Back towards the back of the pack, couple of drivers in the pits. Whack Jump's making his way through the final couple of corners. He is yet to set a competitive lap time, I believe. He's got no delta to the car in front. Thunderdome, who's rounding the final corner on an outlap in that BMW M6. So let's see what progress Whack can make up to the line. So 147.1 does put him above Thunderdome. But will we have enough grip in those soft compound tyres to go? Again, we'll have to wait and see. Prime Cole just ahead of him on the standings, nowhere near him on the racetrack. The Brit's making his way through sector 2, and his current personal best is 45.2. We'll come back to his progress later on. Snipes, the Dutchman, not fine margins between the car in front and behind him, in fact. course, racing for 9 Pegasus. Let's have a look at his Sector 2 splits. Doesn't improve, but it's marginal. Only 200ths off his personal best. Let's keep an eye on his progress. The current pole sitter is on an outlap. What about Hollywood, though? I think he's on a flying lap. He's making his way through the tricky technical third sector. It's a really long final sector. Uses all of the curve available to him on the inside. On the power, nice and early, nearly dips the wheel onto the grass. Handles that M6 through the penultimate corner. It's gripping up nicely for him. Flat out over the final corner. It's a short run up to the line. Prime Gold moves up into 7th place. Hollywood doesn't improve on his personal best as the provisional pole sitter, is about to begin his lap. Snipes does improve, goes up into 7th place, knocks Prime Gold down to 8th, only 9 thousandths separating the two. Thunderdome does improve in his personal best, and that puts him up into 11th place. The gaps between the drivers are very small, only a couple of hundredths, especially towards the midfield, and that could be the difference between making it into Lobby A or Lobby B. Our provisional pole sitter though, Luigi's making his way through Sector 2, down in towards Turn 7. His teammate right behind him going in towards Turn 3. Auto in the Audi is going to be one of the first few drivers to complete their flying laps. We're on board with the Audi R8. You can see he's got a couple of cars in front of him. If he catches up to them, he might get a whack of dirty air, which will compromise him, especially through the technical, tricky corners in the final sector. Hooking up the apex quite nicely. Had a little bit of a snap on the exit of turn 11. But look how much steering lock he's applying to trying to get the car turned in. He's caught up to, I think, that's Fluffy Butt in front of him in the blue and yellow Apex car as he makes his way through the final corner, the penultimate corner, hairpin 2. Can he find 5 tenths to put himself onto provisional pole position? Rounds the final corner. Mortal improves. Auto does not. Who's next across the line? It's Luigi. Can he improve from provisional pole and go even quicker into the 43s? No, he can't. He just misses out on improvement. What about Snipes? He doesn't improve either. Lord Alistair is next across the line. Here once again, drivers not improving on their final laps, just not having the grip in the tyres to go quicker. Nobody is improving on their final lap apart from Atom Grim, who goes a 44.0, 13 hundredths quicker than his teammates, and puts it onto what would be pole position in Lobby B. But of course, we mix the two lobbies, and Prime Cole's the last driver up to the line, doesn't improve with a 2:22.9. And that brings to an end qualifying here tonight at Autopolis for round number 3. It's Atom Grin with a 44.0, the fastest time tonight, 100th quicker than his Spider GT teammate. They are looking likely candidates for a spot in Tier 1, although they would have to find 4 tenths to get onto pole position in Tier 1. That's set by FGR Aura. 43.6 is the pole time in Lobby A, and a couple of FBR drivers setting some good lap times in that lobby. And it could be very close. Lots of close margins in the midfield. Look at that, 2 hundredths, a tenth, 9 thousandths, a tenth, 6 hundredths, 7 hundredths. We're not going to see the rest of the grid, but there could be some very fine cut-off points between some of these drivers getting into Lobby A or staying in Lobby B. Those are how the top 8 lined up, and when we'll of course cut to the bottom half of the grid. So the qualifying session from Lobby B, Atom Grin on pole with a 44.0, 44.1 for Luigi in second, and then from third down to 8th, only 3 tenths separating Auto Rachelon and Prime Carl. In between them, Hollywood in 4th, Owen in 5th, Fluffy Butt in 6th, Snipes in 7th, just missing out on the top 8, Lord Alistair in 9th, Anomina in 10th, Mortal in 11th, Thunderdome in 12th, and Whack Jumps in 13th, and a quality ban for the Spider GT driver. Arukis, unfortunately, has to serve that ban. I don't think it was him that caused the quality ban from last week, but it's him who has been selected to serve it. So let's have a look at how Lobby B lined up. Now, the top 8 in Lobby B, Ahmed with a 44-0. So I'm not sure where the cut-off point would be, but what we're looking at, the top 8 of Lobby A would be the top 8 if we merged the two lobbies. And so 15th in Lobby A was a 44-5. So we are looking at... I'm not sure what we're looking at, to be perfectly honest. It's very, very close between both lobbies. We will find out sooner or later, or sooner rather than later, I should say, to who made Lobby A. But it is very, very close. Drivers around that 44-9 could be very close. It could be very close. Hello and welcome to everyone joining us in the chat. I will have a minute to read out your comments when we get to organise who goes into what lobby. Of course, if you are a new viewer and you don't know what's happening at the minute, this is round 3 of season 4 of the ALR Esports League. We've got 30 drivers in the pit lane now, because I just finished a 10-minute qualifying session. The top 15 make it into lobby A, and the bottom 15 are with me in lobby B. Of course, there's more points in lobby A if you qualify for that lobby. We have several different esports teams that are putting their drivers on track in order to try and score as many points as they can to qualify for the final 2 races. Top 5 teams enter that. And, well, let's give you a bit more information about this track. We're racing at Autopolis International Racing course for tonight's race. We're round the full layout, 18 corners of this 4.9 kilometre track. Of course, there is the shorter option that we could have opted for, but where that cuts off at turn 8 and rejoins at the final corner. The track located in Japan, can't quite remember where in Japan, but it is in Asia. Sorry, 4.6 kilometre circuit, opened up in the 1990s. Tried to gain publication and recognition, but it's quite a remote circuit. There aren't too many facilities nearby, hotels and all sorts, a couple of hours away from the circuit, and didn't really gain the publicity it wanted to. Changed owners a couple of times, and didn't really provide much of a circuit. Couldn't quite get the funding for Formula 1, but has hosted several Super Formula and Super GT races in the past. Couple of sport bike races as well. But there's not really much to say about this track. I don't think it's a driver's favourite. I think some drivers like the challenge of this circuit. And yeah, let me know if you're watching live. How do you feel about Autopolis? Personally, for me, it's not one of my favourite tracks. I don't really gel well with it. Not had too many races of it in the past, but some drivers like the challenge, some drivers prefer those kind of different tracks that are not so popular to others. I know for one, like for example, I'm a fan of the remaker's Grand Valley, mainly because I have decent pace around that track. I'm seeing some opinions about the circuit already. I know one of my mates said if they were a bomber command in 1939, then they would have sent one onto this track to quote James May's opinion about the Nürburgring. But we are just getting the grid set for the race. Remember, the bottom 15 drivers from qualifying will be in Lobby B. And here we go. So, BX is, so I should say from Lobby A, Aura is on pole position with a 43.6. Step in second, Confi in third. Those are your top three. I'm trying to find the cutoff point for Lobby B. So it looks like the top two, the two Spider GT drivers, did qualify for Lobby A. Atom Grin and Luigi. BX and Skyline from Lobby A will be dropping down to Lobby B, and then everyone else in this grid stays as they are and are with me. Oh, I would love it to rain. "44 laps. Please say no one's joining. Fingers crossed." Yes. Had a couple of difficulties last week with this, but it looks like everyone's already in. Drivers are quick tonight. And would of course give them time to enter in. They don't need any time, they're already on it. So the grid for today's race. So BX Royal is on pole position, and his Project Platypus teammate Skyline is in second. In third is Auto, already there. Hollywood is in fourth. Owens in fifth. We've got Fluffy Butts in sixth position. Just behind him is Snipes. Prime Cole is in eighth. Then we have, I think the rest of the grid is, oh no, I was nearly looking at just my results. Where am I? Nomino 10th. Got Mortal starting in 11th. Thunderdome in 12th. Whack in 13th. And of course, Oricus is in 14th place, having had a qualifying ban for Spider GT. I think we are nearly ready to start, but we'll of course give drivers a couple of laps to set a couple of laps maybe. And I would like to look at the weather radar. We can have a wet race here at Autopolis. I think I'd quite like to drive this track in the wet. It doesn't make much sense, but it'd be a nice challenge. It'd be painful, I think, but I think it'd be a good challenge for some of these drivers. The radar is clear for now, but of course we have 44 racing laps that could change that. Ooh, someone's... Good job I spotted that. I was about to, just checking everyone was ready. Just need a little bit of a break. Someone's bladder isn't up to scratch. Let's have a let's look at some cars on track, because that's what we are here to see. We don't want to look at the lobby, we want to look at cars on track. One of them is a BX Royal in the Lexus. Let's watch him going round whilst we wait for everyone to get ready. 44 laps of Autopolis, round number 3 of season 4, here at the ALI Esports League. A reminder, if you're just tuning in to the live stream, we've just had a 10-minute qualifying session to place drivers in the lobby, and of course that determines their starting grid position as well. Only 2 drivers from lobby B qualified into lobby A, that was Attengren and Luigi. So 2 Spider GT drivers making it into lobby A. We've got 3 Apex drivers in here tonight, 3 Aero GT drivers, 1 Spider GT, 3 9 Pegasus, and 2 Project Platypus. I believe that's right. If it's not right, oh well. Everyone else has made it into lobby A. Let's talk a little bit about strategy. I have not done any testing laps prior to this race, mainly because I've been travelling the country karting, and my left hand is about to fall off. So if I miss anything, I blame my left hand. That shouldn't affect the commentary though. The left hand isn't linked to the mouth. The only thing that it's linked, the only way that it is connected is that it's a part of my body. It's the only connection that it has. Shouldn't affect the stream. Don't know why they brought it up. But besides that tangent, I don't know how far the tyres go, but I would expect the medium to be the tyre of choice for this race. It is a technical circuit. I don't think the pit lane is too long, so maybe a 2-stop is the viable strategy tonight. I think the softs will be good for a couple of laps, but I don't think they'll hang on for too long unless there's some good tyre management. And the hards, I think they will be, quite frankly, too slow to be competitive with. Someone's saying I should script it with rain. We'll all do a rain dance halfway through the race. But as of now, it is bright, sunny, clear skies. And I think we are just about good to go. It's looking a little bit cloudy. Whilst everyone lets me know that we are ready to go, let's have one last look at the radar, just in case. Nothing for 100 miles, so we are set for a dry start to this race. Nobody's saying they're not ready, so good luck everyone. Have a good race. What nice, clean wheel-to-wheel action. Couple of issues with lobby A, but that's not going to stop the action here tonight. I don't want to enter. That'd be a disaster. But to go through the grid very quickly one more time, it's BX on pole, Skyline in second, Auto in third, Hollywood in fourth, Owen in fifth, Fluffy Butt in sixth, Snipes in seventh, Prime Cole in eighth, Lord Alicidor in ninth, apologies, Anomina in 10th, Mortal Veloz in 11th, Thunderdome in 12th, Whack in 13th, and Ruckus is in 14th place. Nobody said they're not ready. We had a couple of issues last week, so let's get this race underway. And also, there's no action in Lobby A at the minute. We'll get the action underway in Lobby B. "14 drivers take on the challenge of the streets of Autopolis. We've got 44 laps for these drivers. 4.6 miles of this track in Japan. How will they fare? 5 red lights! And we go racing at Autopolis for Season 4, Round 3. The 2 Project Platypus cars get away well off the line. BX Royal leading them away from pole position, down and towards the first corner. Fluffy Butt looking for a move, down on the inside of a couple of cars. Hollywood on Owen, he's going to try and sweep it round the outside, but makes contact with the South African, and there's a driver wide and off the track through turn 1, but everyone has survived the first corner. It's the 2 Project Platypus cars leading them through Sector 1, behind Premco and Snipes going side by side. But it's the Brit that comes out on the top. A couple of other cars going side by side behind. That's Snipes on auto, going wheel to wheel, and I see a Spider GT car making their way up through the grid as well, having started from the back. But it's a great start for BX Royal, starting on that soft compound tyre, as is Skyline behind Fluffy, but also on the softs. Looks like everyone's going completely against what I was talking about at the start of this race. Seems to be a soft start to this race. 2 Pegasus cars going side by side down the hill in towards turn 11. Oh, they're going to go wheel to wheel. No, they're not. The Belgian of Lord Asilidor takes the position from Snipes, and Nomina ahead of the German Whack making contact with Thunderdome, and that's Whack off the track, rejoins safely behind the drivers in front. But our first off here tonight, BX Royal though leading the field away to end lap 1 and start lap 2 in the lead of this race, 8.5 tenths clear of his teammate behind, who have already started to pull away from the cars behind. Our first time penalty for Fluffy Butt, half a second as he goes side by side with Owen down the start finish straight in towards the first corner. It's Owen on the inside, gets the move done. Fluffy Butt's going to try the old up and under, get a good run on the exit of turn 1 through turn 2. Owen defends the inside from the South African, late on the brakes, down the inside, defends the position, keeps it for now, but here comes Hollywood looking interested on his teammates. They might work together a little bit to filter their way up through the field and onto the podium positions. But for now it's Owen who gets the position and maintains 3rd place from this train of cars behind him. The 2 Pegasus cars battling for the lower end of the top 10 in 8th and 9th place. But Snipes just settles in behind his teammate for now as they go back up the hill in towards turn 10. Also looking for a move on Prime Car, looking for that inside line in towards the slow left-hand hairpin. But Prime Car with the outside line is just able to keep that with the speed on the outside. Owen now just pulling up a gap to Fluffy Butt. The 2 Apex cars watch behind. They struggled as a team a little bit last week in Deep Forest. Had 2 drivers running towards the back of Lobby B, but now they've got 2 drivers in the upper half of Lobby B. Fluffy Butt leading his teammate Hollywood in 4th and 5th place respectively. They're having a good start to this race. Back into the midfield. Mortal just behind Oricus in 11th place. And Nomina just running inside the top 10, looking for a move on Snipes in towards the first corner. A couple of drivers towards the upper end of the field as well, thinking about moves, but no one really close enough to really send one down the inside. Owen's built up that gap to Fluffy Butt, but you can see the train of cars that follow down towards turn 3, and as they exit sector 1 into sector 2, BX Royal leads them through the first sector in towards lap 3 of 44. Looks like the majority of drivers are on the soft compound tyres. Everyone inside the top 7 is on that red striped soft compound tyre. And then it's mediums for those outside of the top 10. Everyone is sort of filtered into position based on their tyres. Isildur leads his teammate Snipes, almost pushing him through the hairpin. Might have given him a little bit of a bump on the apex actually, which has helped his run down the hill. The Belgian lets his teammate go through. The two teammates trading positions in the run down towards the right-hander of turn 11. Now the Dutchman has the go-ahead to close down that 2.8 second lead to Auto in front. He's doing a good job in the Audi R8, closely behind Primco in the battle for 6th place. The German and the Japanese manufacturer fighting for a place inside the top 6. But the Project Racing United driver will be looking to get one up on Aero GT. He's got a decent exit round the final corner. May see him pounce and overtake in towards the first corner. We're on board with the Audi, looking down on that Alexis in front, but he's not quite close enough to send one down the inside, and nor is there in the background behind Phenomena, just closely following the Pegasus cars. Does he decide to send one in towards turn 3? Thought about it, just had a little jink over to the inside, but decided better of it to stick behind for now. Porsches are doing fairly decently here tonight. A couple of them getting the upper hand on the Lexus, it seems, when they are running behind. He might not be behind for much longer. He thought about looking for a gap on the inside, but he's ran wide off the track and into the grass, and he might be vulnerable to the German behind going up the hill in towards the hairpin at turn 10. And indeed he is. Although the German has a penalty, he has the position up into the top 10. That's Orikis up into 10th place. Might lose that position though when he gets to this time on the next lap to serve that half-second penalty. But capitalising on a mistake, and he's up into 10th, and he started from the back. Leading from the front though is BX Royal in the Lexus. Leading his Project Pacifist teammates. Skyline in 2nd place. They built out a 4-second gap to Owen behind collectively, but he's being closely followed by Fluffy Butt, and this is a very early stop for Owen into the pits at the end of lap 4. Now I'm assuming there is some logic behind this, but it looks like he's definitely got a lot more to give on those soft compound tyres. Interesting to see how this race fares for the British driver, pitting from 3rd place at the end of lap 4. We're on lap 5 of 44. The driver in 5th. Auto's gotten ahead of Primeco in that Audi R8. Looking now to hunt down Hollywood for a spot inside the top 4. The leaders are leading by 4 seconds. Together to Fluffy Butt behind in 2nd. It's a Project Platypus 1-2 and an Apex 3-4. They're running very close together. Controlling this race from the front. Skyline with the fastest lap of the race so far with a 44.6, both running the soft compound tyre. Looking to go for a slightly shorter first stint with the limited fuel that they have in the tanks of these cars to start the race. They have half a tank of fuel from the start, which really opens up the strategy later on. How much fuel do you put in? Do you fuel for your stint? Do you fuel to the end? We'll have to wait and see. We've had one pit stop so far. That was Owen pitting from 3rd place. That's a bit of a slide for the German. That might open up an opportunity for Phenomena to go around the outside through the penultimate corner. Orikis has the grip on those mediums to stay ahead for now. But how's your run down towards turn 1? It's 2 Porsches, but they might have a slightly different setup that gives one more straight line speed than the other. And we're going to see a send from Anomina. No, we're not. Down towards the first corner, but he might think about something in towards turn 3. Whilst this battle for 8th place continues. Let's have a look at the start again. Lights out and away we go. You can see the Audi already pulling over to the outside to cover off the cars behind as we make our way down towards the first corner. The Project Platypus car's got a great start off the line. Contact in the midfield. That's why someone ran wide. That's why Thunderdome was sent off into the gravel at turn 1. And then towards the back of the pack, Auto down the inside. A couple of cars behind going side by side. That's a Pegasus and a Spider GT car going wheel to wheel in the background. So in fact there was contact at the start. But a very clean start from the race leader, which has seen him control the race ever since. But back to the live action, and that gap has built up to 2 seconds to Skyline behind, but they are continuing to pull away from Fluffy Butt. 3.5 seconds is the gap to the car behind. But in the lower end of the midfield, just battling for a spot inside the top 8, we have this 3-car fight between 3 different teams. It's Pegasus versus Spider versus Aero for 8th place. The Belgians leading them down in towards the first corner. It's the best overtaking opportunity at this circuit, but it's off camber, which doesn't help, especially if you find yourself on the outside. Isildur leads them through sector 2. Oricus nearly running into the back of the Lexus in front. That might leave him vulnerable to Anomina behind, who has though ran wide onto the grass, which will compromise his run through 100R. Turn 8 into the second best overtaking opportunity, down into hairpin 2. But the German not quite close enough to go for a move, which will see him up into 8th place. The gap out in front has gotten bigger. Mistake from Skyline. Perhaps those soft compound tyres are beginning to degrade very quickly, and we might see him into the pits in a couple of laps' time. His teammate slightly better life on those tyres. He could stay out for one more lap, but I think we will see the Brit into the pits at the end of this lap. I was saying in qualifying how heavy this track degrades the front compound tyres. The front compound tyres? Just the front tyres. There is no front compound tyre. Indeed, we have Skyline into the pit. Was he over the white line as he came in? I think he just about was on it. So he shouldn't get a penalty. Hollywood is also into the pits. Primeco follows him in. And we are starting to see the first wave of pit stops coming into action. Will it be for the mediums, or will we see a number of these drivers go onto the hard compound tyres? I'm thinking if the softs can go 8 laps, mediums maybe around 16, give or take 2 or 3 laps. So 16, 16, 32. They're still 4 laps short of going to the end, so we might see a 3 stop for mediums and softs, or a 2 stop including the hard compound tyre. We'll have to wait and see. But this battle for 8th is now the battle for 5th. I am interested to see where Owens filtered out into all this. He was 3rd, remember, before the pit stops. Now 3.5 seconds behind Hollywood, who was occupying that 4th position before the first wave of pit stops came into effect. And has got the jump on Owen by staying out for a couple laps longer. That was nearly an opportunity for Oricus to go for it down the inside. You think the move's coming, it's just a matter of when. Isildur keeping the German behind for now. on those medium compound tyres. So these three will be staying out longer than everyone else. Couple of drivers into the pits, Fluffy Butts into the pits, but the top two stay out. Also following BX on track. These three now gets promoted a couple of positions. Isildur now into 4th place. Is Oricus going to send it down and towards turn 1, pulls over to the inside, but just backs off of a move in the end. Has that compromised a chance to send it down the inside in towards turn 3. He's closely following the back of that Lexus. We'll just have to wait for another opportunity. That opportunity might be coming sooner than he anticipated. Looking for a move on the inside in towards turn 4. Isildur defends the inside in towards hairpin 1. And is doing enough to keep the German behind. All three of them sliding on the exit, struggling a little bit for traction. Although it is the fronts that will wear a lot more than the rears. They're going to have a lot of rear grip, these drivers tonight, but they will be suffering a lot from front end grip. That's a 5/10 penalty, harsh I think from Isildur, but he's left the door open for Oricus to send one down the inside. The German finally gets the position, and that's the Nomina nearly running into the back of the Pegasus car in towards hairpin 2. But they all survive. And it's now the Spider GT Porsche up into 4th place. I'm beginning to think that the Belgian is struggling with front tyres, slightly worse than the cars around him, not by too much though. But now that Oricus has got that position, you can see the gap's already opened up to 7/10, and it's growing through these corners. Royal though is into the pits from the lead of this race, having started on pole position. Isildur will have to serve that penalty on this lap when he crosses the penalty gate on the exit of turn 10. As these guys make their way down towards turn 1, let's have a look and see what tyres go onto the Project Platypus car. It's off from the softs onto the mediums, and he's come out in 7th place, just behind Whack Jumps, who stays out on those soft compound tyres. But look at the gap he's got to his teammate as he just saw it going towards turn 1. Cameraman's lacking, looking at some trees. But the Project Platypus teammates, Skyline now in 9th place. Hollywood and Fluffy Butt are a lot closer, having pitted that lap earlier. And look in the background as well, that's Owen just behind Fluffy Butt. So this could be a 4-way fight for 9th place on the track, and net 2nd place overall as it stands, with a couple of drivers starting this race, or several drivers, sorry, starting this race on the medium compound tyres. Isildur will have to slow down for half a second to serve that time penalty, which he picked up on the last lap on the exit of turn 9. Slows down for half a second, and through goes a Nomina down and towards the high-speed right-hander of turn 11. The Aero GT car moving up places in this race. Oricus started from the back of the grid with a Spider GT qualifying ban, which he was selected to serve, but he now finds himself in the top 3, running in a podium position. Of course, other drivers have pitted, and he has started on those medium compound tyres. I now have the hiccups, which doesn't make sense because I haven't had anything to eat or drink. Wow. So apologies if the commentary is slightly broken up by a hiccup. Someone who's had no hiccups so far though, BX Royal, who started this race on pole position, has led every single lap prior to the pit stop window phase, and now has some traffic to deal with. Harsh to say traffic, but Royal's made a pit stop, Whack hasn't. You'd think this would be a relatively easy overtake given the tyre difference. However, it is not an easy track to make an overtake, which could prove slightly difficult for a man of BX Royal's talents to do. And he nearly ran out of talent there, running wide through turn 4. That would have been a rather embarrassing spin. Behind him, Mortal has not made a pit stop yet, but the cars behind him have. Skyline leads Hollywood by 1.1 seconds. The gap was just over 3 seconds before the pit stops. but the undercuts from the Apex drivers have brought them back into the battle for a podium position. Fluffy's Butt following his Apex teammate Hollywood very closely down and towards turn 10. 8 tenths separate them, but they have Owen closely following them behind, who is trying to score as many points as he can for Aero GT. But Snipes leads the field away now, ending lap 11 onto lap 12 of 44 in this race. Good for Snipes to be leading some laps here in the Porsche 911 for the 9 Pegasus team. Down towards turn 1. He's got Oricus closely behind him, 4.4 seconds behind the Spider GT. Anomina in third for Aero, and then of course Lord Isildur following him closely. Pegasus getting a couple of drivers into the top 5 as things stand, but of course we're yet to see some pit stops being made. Auto has taken those tyres a fair distance in this race. You've got to give him credit for this stint he's pulled off on that soft compound tyre. I don't think he's made a pit stop yet, although that 2 minute is ugly. Did he make a pit stop or did he have an accident? I think he's had an incident somewhere on the racetrack. To have lost 13 seconds. Not sure what happened there. That's unfortunate for the Audi, the Project Racing United team. They were in a strong position. Royal, though, has gotten past Whack Jamps for 6th place. Of course, he was leading whilst he having started on the soft compound tyres. An interesting split in strategy. Half the grid are on the softs, the other half on the mediums. Of course, all those medium runners have stayed out and are staying out for as long as they can. The likes of Hollywood, Fluffy Butt, Owen, they're all on a fresh set of medium compound tyres, having pitted in the first pit stop window around lap number 8. Which is a good indication to the other drivers who started on the mediums to know that with 50% fuel, it's likely that the soft compound tyres go about 8 laps. Snipes is into the pits off of the mediums. He still had a little bit to give, but nothing in the tank. Auto follows him in on the soft compound tyres. That's a brilliant stint, by the way. 12 laps on the softs. It's just a shame that we missed that incident. And, he started at the back of the grid, having not set a qualifying time. He now finds himself leading the race, does Oricus, for the Spider GT team. I believe he's making his Spider GT debut here tonight. So that's good for him to have worked himself from the back of the pack to the front. Albeit some drivers have pitted, but never say never. This may be the winning strategy for him. He's found his way past the medium runners and is leading a couple of laps here in the Esports League. You'll have to see it from drivers making their debut. It really gives them that boost in confidence that they're on the right track. Hopefully, I haven't given him the commentator's curse and he'll go on and score some good points for the team. But it's being closely followed by a Nomina, a driver who made some good overtakes last week at Deep Forest. And look at the tyre difference between the two of them. The one Porsche looking after its tyres a lot better than the other, and has having saved a lot more fuel as well. In the midfield, though, Skyline stuck behind some traffic in this race, looking for a gap on the inside, nearly collects the back of the Lexus in towards turn 13. But it's just the risk you take with starting on the faster compound tyre, pitting early and getting stuck behind drivers who started on the slower medium compound tyres. We're on board with the front of Skyline's car, watching on the traffic in front of him. They will be into the pits soon. One of them does pull into the pits. Mortal's into the pits. And he's got a little bit of clear space in front of him. 1.1 behind in front, 1.9 behind. Skyline was running in second place before the pit stops and had the gap to Fluffy Butt, who has actually gotten past his Apex teammate. They have swapped positions. Fluffy Butt now ahead of Hollywood. And Owen's not too far behind them. There's a change for the lead, and Owen has got past Orikis for the lead of the race. Down towards turn 7. Can he keep it into turn 10 at hairpin 2? Yes, he can. But a change for the lead. Those just fresher medium compound tyres working for our new race leader. But it's not over yet. We've still got 31 laps of racing action tonight. It is getting a little bit cloudy. Wonder how many of our viewers are doing a rain dance right now, hoping for a wet spell in this race. We had a couple of wet races in the GT3 leagues on Monday. One of the tier 3 races did see a rain event towards the end of that race, and of course it can rain here tonight at the circuits of Autopolis. Right now, clear skies, and pit stops being made. Orikis into the pits from the back of the grid. It'll be interesting to see where he filters out, because he did make his way to the front, did lead a couple of laps, but of course we'll now have to not face reality a bit, but slot back into position. Speaking of changing positions though, Fluffy Bar on the inside, right hand side of the track, didn't decide to send it on Whack Jams, but he's got a good exit through turn 1. Can he find a move down towards turn 3? He's gaining, and gaining is the Aston Martin. Has a look, but that's all he'll do. Max has ran a little bit wide. That opens the door for a potential move, but contact between the Aston and Nissan. And well, that Jams keeps the position, and all this battling, trying to get past. Sorry, trying to get past the Project Racing United car. Is losing him time to Skyline in front. Remember, Fluffy Butt was running in 3rd place, runs a little bit wide on the exit of turn 10, but he's gaining on Jabs down towards turn 11, but he's not quite close enough to go for a move. And look at the gap open up. Skyline 2.3 seconds, 2.4. Of course, Wax started on those medium compound tyres. He's left the door open on the inside. Now the inside for Fluffy Butt, who's up into 5th place. Wack will try and hold it as best he can around the outside. But the grip on those fresher medium compound tyres is enough to get the Apex driver in front, and Apex might try and follow him through down the inside into the penultimate corner. Contact between him and Owen, I believe. Isildur's into the pits from 3rd place, and Wack is going to end this defence by coming into the pits. Hollywood now under pressure from Owen, who pulls over to the left hand side of your screen, right hand side of the track, down the inside, in towards the first corner. Hollywood has him covered on the outside, but they'll run bumper to bumper down towards turn 3. Hollywood defends the inside. Owen's looking for a gap on the inside, but not one wide enough to go for the move. Wack leaves the pit lane behind. Isildur in 14th place, but they do have the fresh tyres to work their way through the field. It's hard tyres and mediums for the two respectively. All the leaders are now on the medium compound tyres. Anomina, of course, started on those mediums, and he's done well to take them 16 laps into this race, given that some drivers have already ran out of fuel when they made their pit stops 3, 4, 5 laps ago. So it's been a great stint for Anomina to take the tyres, or not necessarily the tyres, but to save the fuel and go for that long in the race. Hollywood, though, has to think about defending from Owen behind. He is in the fresher compound, on the fresher medium compound tyre though, so he should have a slight grip advantage. Does he, though, have the pace advantage to stay in front and pull away? He's ran wide through the penultimate corner, opens the door wide open for Owen. But the Brit not quite close enough to capitalise on that slight mistake. The track is looking a bit foggy it has to be said, down the start-finish straight. Owen looking for that move once again in towards turn 1, filling the mirrors on that BMW M6, watching that Porsche 911 get closer and closer down towards the first corner. Hollywood again defending the apex of turn 3, and Owen just having a look at the inside of that corner, just letting him know he's there, and that he will send it if he needs to. But this is our closest battle out on track at the minute. Of course, we do have the battle for 11th place between Mortal and Oricus. The Spider GT driver started from the back of the pack, and he's looking to try and get ahead of the Pegasus car in front. But back up to the top of the field. Anomina didn't start this race on pole position, but is finding himself leading this race, having stayed out on those medium compound tyres, saved a fair bit of fuel. If it buckets it down now, he's in a very good position to score some good points. But finally does come into the pits, having started this race in 10th place, and BX Royal, who started on pole position, retakes the lead of his race, and the Project Platypus 1-2 resumes. But that gap has increased, now 7.2 seconds. It wasn't that big before the pit stop window. Skyline getting the worst of the traffic, it seemed, and his teammate has pulled out a healthy advantage. Hollywood leads Owen in the battle for 4th place by 7/10 of a second. Down towards turn 1, Mortal's just pulled a gap on Oricus behind. Lord of Silder will struggle a little bit on those hard compound tyres to close the gap, but eventually those hard compound tyres will come into play when the mediums begin to fade. The car in front of him is on the hard compound tyres, but the rest of them are on mediums, some more worn than others, has to be said. Now I don't know why we don't actually have a fastest lap being displayed for us. Looks like we're not going to get a fastest lap. We're not going to know who gets the fastest lap until the end of the race. We'll have to wait and see how that one unfolds. BX Royal starts lap number 19 of 44 in the lead of this race, 8 seconds ahead of his Project Platypus teammate Skylight in second. Fluffybot rounds up the top 3. 3 seconds ahead of his Apex teammate, who's tried his best to pull away from Owen, who is in 5th place on a much worn set of medium compound tyres, having pitted very early on in this race at the end of lap 4, which was an interesting decision from him. Not too sure myself how it's going to play out in the end, considering some drivers took their soft tyres to lap 12, lap 8 sorry, mediums for lap 12. But as this race goes on, we're getting, I know we don't like, strategy's not the best, not the most entertaining thing to talk about, but we're learning how far these tyres can go, and the difference between a fresh set of mediums and a worn set of mediums. Owen just struggling to keep up with the back of Hollywood, and it's really put himself on I'm going to say the back foot here in this race. He's going to have to pit a lot earlier than all the cars around him, which will give him the undercut, but might not benefit him in the long run. Here comes a Nomino on the inside of Snipes in towards Hairpin 2, and that's a nice clean overtake from a Nomino. The Aero GT car moves ahead of the Pegasus car, defends the inside line down towards turn 11 and keeps that position. Oh, a wobble and a slide from Snipes, who has led laps in this race. Belair now finds himself in 8th place, ahead of Auto but behind Anomina. And both are on some fairly decently fresh set of medium compound tyres. Has also got a good enough exit down the start-finish straight. Eye up and move on Snipes in towards the first corner. He's gaining and gaining. He pulls over to the inside, late on the brakes. Later for Snipes, he leaves the door open. He's wide through turn 1, but that will give him a good run down the hill in towards turn 2 and 3. But here comes the Audi R8. Auto Restaurant on the inside, Snipes on the outside. The Dutchman brakes earlier, Auto brakes later, and him gets the move up into 8th place. Snipes losing a couple of positions and a couple of laps, and is now down into 9th place, but he still remains closely following the back of that Audi, and there's still every opportunity for him to get that place back. Many a laps, we're not even halfway through the Japanese Grand Prix here tonight at Autopolis. And this is our current closest battle on the racetrack as things stand. Up front though, having said that, 6/10 between Skyline and Fluffy Butt. Fluffy Butt's done a great job, a great stint to close down that gap to Skyline, who's just losing touch with his teammate and his tyres. The fronts on the Porsche not looking as good as those on the V12 Vantage behind him. Will continue to stay out whilst he's still in the low 47s, but Fluffy Butt in the mid 46s and lapping quicker within the car in front. You can see the time starting to fall off on the Aston Martin, but not as much compared to that of the car in front. We're riding on board with Fluffy Butt inside the Aston Martin V12, following the Porsche 911 through the middle sector, through turns 5 and 6, down through hairpin 1. The sky beginning to brighten up a little bit towards the middle phase of this race. Got a little bit foggy a couple of minutes ago, but any chance of rain has been cleared for now. But Fluffy Butt following Skyline through the middle sector in towards hairpin 2. Looks like that that Vantage got the power nicely out of that corner compared to the Porsche. But through the middle sector, Fluffy Butt looking at the back of that Project Platypus car. The Apex driver looking to make moves on in this race and get himself up another step on the podium. And he's brought out a bit of a gap to his teammate Hollywood, who runs in 4th place. Just keeping that gap to Owen behind at about 1.5 seconds. The Brit, who pitted early on in this race, will be into the pits soon, I think. Maybe 2 or 3 laps to change off of those mediums. Here comes Fluffy Butt. He's late on the brakes. He's down the inside. He thought about it, but didn't send it. But he's licking the stamp. He's ready to send it. He's just looking for that gap to put his car through the letterbox and up into 2nd place. How and where is he going to do it though? Next opportunity, the best opportunity, is down towards hairpin 2. Has a look into hairpin 1. But we'll just follow the back of Skyline for now. The two drivers making their way through 100R for the 22nd time this evening out of 44 laps here at Autopolis. The Aston Martin's got a decent run as well through turn 8, through turn 9. How are your brakes? How's your confidence? Bumps the back of the Porsche on the apex at turn 10. But they both live to fight another day. Skyline leads Fluffy Butt down the hill in towards the fast right-hander of turn 11. think Fluffy Butt just did to Will onto the grass there on the left-hand side of the track, which lost him a tenth or two. But is doing well to stay with the back of Skyline, especially through these tricky technical corners in the final sector. Of course, following the car in front will be driving through a load of dirty air. But he's just had a couple of corners there where he's been able to stay within 0.5 of a second, which gives him a good run down towards the first corner. Is he going to be close enough, though, to try a late lunge on the inside? Doesn't even think about it this time. I think he's just preparing, maybe in towards turn 3. Skyline's been good through turn 1, but Fluffy Butt even better on this lap. The gap now 2/10 and closing, pulls over to the inside, pulls back over though to the racing line. Skyline's ran wide through turn 3. That gives Fluffy Butt a chance to loop it all the way right round the outside for turn 4. A little bit of a mistake, had to correct himself, but Skyline still stays in second place. Just listen to that, the tyres screaming on these GT3 cars as they make their way through the long swooping left-hander of turn 8. Fluffy Butt was late on the brakes there, nearly went into the back of Skyline for the second lap running down towards hairpin 2. But they both survive out on the track. Meanwhile, behind them, Onomina has got himself up into 6th place. But look at that gap in front. What's happened to Fluffy Butt? Fluffy Butt has dropped it. He's got damage to his bumper and suspension. And he's all over the place through the final sector. He was looking at a move for second place. Now he finds himself struggling in 5th with damage to the front of his car. But that is a disaster for him. Meanwhile, Prime Car and Auto going side by side into the final couple of corners. The Brit getting the move done on the Audi that runs wide onto the grass but keeps the car going in a straight line, and it's all kicking off here on lap 23 of 44. But Prime Car, despite his heavy wear to the front left, able to make moves on the racetrack. But the big talking point, what happened to Fluffy Butt? Well, let's find out. Going down the hill in towards turn 11. Does he run wide, take too much speed? Looks a little bit fast. He's onto the grass, and there goes the rear and into the barrier. And that is not what Apex would have hoped for tonight. They've got 2 drivers flying high, but could be proven to be a costly mistake for the South African driver. Who now has a Nomina close behind him, putting him under pressure. That spin, maybe a lack of a dip in confidence now for the next couple of laps as he regains his speed and momentum down towards what is a fairly critical corner. A lot of time can be gained or lost depending on how committed you are through this corner. And this time around doesn't take as much curb, if any. Is under pressure from the Nomina behind. We're on board now with the Porsche 911, getting a view of the back of the V12 Vantage in front of him. A Nomina on those soft compound tyres actually, so has gone medium soft in this race. Went long in the first stint. And now finds himself on that race stripe soft. Owens into the pits at the end of lap 24, having started this race on the soft, pitted after only 4 laps on that tyre. Which promotes the Nomina into 5th and Fluffy Butt into 4th. Our closest battle out on track is the battle for 4th place between these 2 drivers. But BX Royal has started this race on pole position, has led the majority of this race and is controlling the pace from the front. 16 seconds ahead of his teammate Skyline in 2nd place, and continues to lead over the halfway stage in this race. Fluffy Butt though, having made that mistake a lap ago, now ahead of Anomina in the battle for 4th place. The closest 2 drivers out on track at the minute, and behind them is Auto and Primeco in the battle for 6th place. The Audi getting back ahead of the Lexus in their battle for 6th place. Runs a little bit wide through the second hairpin, but doesn't lose too much speed in his pursuit for Anomina in front. He is on the medium compound tyres though, but the softs on Anomina will begin to fade in about 2 or 3 laps time, and it could be lap 32 by the time, maybe lap 31 in fact, when we see him back into the pits for another stop to maybe finish this race on the softs, or might come in early for the mediums. We'll have to wait and see, but he's had a really good final sector, has Anomina, following the back of that Aston Martin. Now he's in the slipstream down the start-finish straight in the run down towards turn 1. Isn't the longest start-finish straight on the calendar, and that's where the Porsches might struggle in this race. They'll be brilliant through the corners, but the top speed from the Lexus just that little bit better than that Porsche, and with a shorter run down towards turn 1, might struggle to make moves towards the front of the field. Fluffy Butt leaves the door open on the inside for Anomina to walk through. They're now side by side through turn 8, 100R. Fluffy Butt just covering the racing line. Anomina tucks in behind. We're on board now with Anomina chasing the back of the Aston Martin up in towards hairpin 2. Does he send it down the inside? No, he doesn't. Takes a wider line, cuts inside, gets a good exit on the back of turn 10. But an exit that's not quite good enough to challenge for moving towards turn 11. These two are providing most of the on-track action here tonight. We saw a similar scenario at Deep Forest, where after the pit stops the gaps began to open, but as the different strategies kind of converged on each other, it brought the pack back together for the final 5, 6, 7 laps in that race. And we're watching 2 different strategies converge on each other here on lap 27. Anomina fighting for a spot on the podium now that Skyline's entered the pits off of the mediums. Fluffy Butt though leading Anomina in towards turn 1. Once again the Porsche just doesn't have the legs on the Lexus to try and get past in towards the first corner. He might have to get inventive with this move, or is he perhaps saving a bit of fuel? Look at that fuel difference between himself and Fluffy Butt. He's in a really good position here, Anomina. Yes, his on-track pace hasn't been what you'd call fantastic compared to the leaders, but that's because he's playing the long game. He's saving his tyres, he's saving the fuel, he's waiting for an attack in his final stint. What he's hoping for now is that it stays dry until the end of the race, or for it to absolutely pour it down when he gets to the end of this stint on the soft compound tyres. Well, by his fuel saving strategy, should be one of the few drivers out on the track. A couple more pit stops though have been made at the end of lap 26. Primeco was one of them in off of the softs, and he's gone onto the mediums, which I think could do the rest of this race. It might be touch and go, but I think he could get to the end on those tyres. BX Royal though, our race leader, is into the pits. He will be coming off of the mediums, putting on a fresh set of rubber. Primeco though looking for a move on Asildo down towards turn 11. He's not going to be close enough on the back of the Pegasus car to make a move. But fuel going into BX Royal's car at 66 litres, and another set of medium compound tyres for him. He exits the pit in second place. As Primeco looks for an attack on Asildo. On those hard compound tyres, the Lexus will struggle compared to the car behind. Prime car is almost fresh, soft, fresh, medium compound tyres, nearly pushing the car in front through the penultimate corner. He's tucked up nicely in the slipstream, pulls over to the right hand side of the track, down towards the first corner. Now the left hand side of your screen, the Brit late on the brakes and down the inside, and a move up into the top 10. And I don't think Isildur can fight this one back, although he does have a great exit through turn 1 on those hard compound tyres, pulls alongside the Aero GT car, and you know what? He says, you know, I might be on the slower tyre here, but I'm not going to give up this position up without a fight. Well, that's great racing from the Belgian. Prime car though, with the grip from those medium compound tyres, able to follow the Lexus closely through 100R. And it's just dropped off a little bit. But back up to this battle for 4th place now. Mortal into 4th, having only made one pit stop in this race. Owen trying to go round the outside in towards turn 13, not going to make it work on this occasion. We'll try and find that gap that was always going to be closing on the inside. Thankfully for him, backs out of it in the end. I'm interested to see how this strategy works for Owen. He pitted very early on off of the softs, now is on a second stint on the mediums. Is this a committed 3-stop for the Brit perhaps, or can he take those mediums to the end of the race? That I think he should do. That's late on the brakes, down the inside, contact between the two. They're going to run door to door, wheel to wheel, down through turn 2, in towards turn 3. But the Dutch driver just has the edge for now. Misses the apex on the inside, but Owen's not close enough to go for it on this occasion. And for his race between the apex drivers, needs to get on with it. I'm not saying the drivers who have stayed out are slow, but they're on the slower tyre, and Owen finally gets past down towards turn 7 before they get to turn 8, and that's Owen up into 4th place. Back down to the battle for 9th place. Prime Cole has gotten past Lord Isildur, finally in the battle for 9th place. What is this we are watching? It's Royal into the pits. He is waved clear. This could be quite close on the exit actually, but just gets out into 2nd place ahead of Auto. That could be game changing for him. Was leading this race by quite a comfortable margin, but important that he got out in front of the Audi driver. Skyline and Hollywood are both on a fresh set of medium compound tyres, and Hollywood has got out ahead of Skyline. And the Project Platypus driver has been knocked down by the Apex team. And we could be in for a battle for 2nd place towards the end of this race. Having said that, I've not really got much of an idea where several of these drivers will filter out onto the track when they make their 2nd or 3rd and final pit stop in some cases. And Nomura, of course, has taken each stint he started. He's gone very long on each tyre. He's on lap 13, he's only made one pit stop, both of which on the soft compound tyre, so we'll finish this race on the mediums. And he has saved a hell of a lot of fuel. But our closest battle is this battle for 6th place between Apex and Project Platypus. Hollywood versus Skyline. The order was reversed for the first 30 minutes of this race, but the way it's unfolded, they have swapped positions. It's now Hollywood that leads Skyline. Now, how do the Apex team approach this? Because they do have Fluffy Bat, 2.3 seconds behind them. Do they use Hollywood to hold up Skyline as much as he can to allow Fluffybat to catch up and maybe overtake? I don't think they'll implement that at this stage of the race while they still have cars and traffic in front of them. But towards the final 5 laps of this race, we could see some heavy defending from that BMW M6 to allow his Apex teammate to catch up and make this a 3-way fight for 2 spots on the podium. Nomina does lead this race, but he has got BX Royal closely following him through the second sector. It's not the first time that Nomina's led laps this evening. Now, he could filter out in this battle between the Apex drivers, which just goes to show how much of a lead BX Royal has been able to build up in this race. The grip difference, though, between the 2 drivers is quite substantial. I mean, having said that, BX Royal didn't actually get the best exit through turn 10, following the back of that Porsche through the final sector now. Nomina leading Royal in towards the left, the right now, the left-hander of turn 12, the right-hander of turn 13 and 14. Nomina goes wide, leaves the door open for Royal to walk on through on the inside. Now the outside for the double left-hander. Under the bridge they go. Royal is left the space. Now it's the inside line for the penultimate corner, and Royal is up into the lead of the race. And Nomina, I think, will be pulling off into the pits. He's done his job, and yeah, there you go. The Porsche is back into pit lane. But back to this battle for 5th place. Mortal Velos staying out. I think he will be into the pits in the next couple of laps. On those medium compound tyres, I think he could pit 3-4 laps time for the soft compound tyres, which means he's not getting out of the way for these 3 cars. This could be close for the Nomina on pit exit. A 5-way fight for the lead. They're 3 wide into turn 1. Hollywood on the inside. Skyline just gets the jump on the Nomina. Mortal's late on the brakes, hits the side of Hollywood. They're 3 wide once again. Contact as a Nomina looks to put his Porsche on the inside of Fluffybat, who's dropped down into 7th place. Now runs alongside Skyline down towards turn 3. Fluffybat though, now on the inside of Skyline, down towards turn 7, and the South African is ahead of the German. Mortal has gone from 4th to 8th in the matter of a sector and a half. But that just goes to show the difference between fresh tyres and warm tyres, especially at this late stage of the race. But he sends one down the inside of Skyline. That's a late lunge, but he gets the move done. Contact was made though between the 2 cars. The elbows are now out. Skyline though gets the position back. I think Mortal realised that was a little bit too aggressive on the inside and concedes that position and will probably be into the pits at the end of this lap. But 2 great stints by Nomina. Finds himself in this battle for 4th place. Could be 3rd. Because Auto is into the pits off of his medium compound tyres. How quickly can the team change those tyres and put in enough fuel to get him to the end of the race? Here come the front runners now down towards turn 1. Hollywood leaving a Nomina defensive to the inside in towards the first corner. Nomina's late on the brakes, is going to try and swoop it right round the outside. Hollywood leaves in the space. But has he got the momentum to keep it down the hill in towards turn 3? Hollywood on the inside, later on the brakes. Nomina's going to try and hold it round the outside. Now the outside for turn 4 and 5. Nomina trying his best to try and get past the Apex car, but this racing's allowing the other Apex driver to close up to this battle for the final spot on the podium. And it's great racing between these drivers and will likely go to the checkered flag. Here comes the Nomina with a good run through turn 9. thinking about a move into the hairpin, but it's covered off by Hollywood. Defensive to the inside, but that leaves the door open for Anomina to get a good run down the hill in towards turn 11. They're not going to go side by side through here, surely. Anomina just tucks in behind, and Fluffy Butt has caught right up to this back, to this three-way fight for third place here on lap 33, as we're just about to clock over the Aero mark here at Autopolis. Here we go, once again down the start-finish straight, end lap 33, onto lap 34. Hollywood once again pulling over to the right-hand side of the circuit, defending that inside line, because here comes Anomina around the outside. Can he make it work this time? He's going to try it once again, runs wide onto the gravel, a snap of oversteered by Hollywood in the BMW M6. They are once again side by side, door to door, down towards turn 4. Anomina though is going to try and hold it around the outside, has the inside for the next corner. Hollywood's going to plant his foot in to try and get the outside line. Now the inside for the hairpin one, but here comes Fluffy Butt, trying to get the move done on his Apex teammate, unable to go round the outside of the hairpin, but Hollywood is now up into third place and on a set of soft compound tyres. I'm gonna have to check, but I thought Anomina started this race on the softs, pitted for another set of softs. I'm not sure. He's used two different compounds. Just to read some of your comments in the chat, yes, we do race on, we do always race on Sundays. The Esports League is on a Sunday evening at 8 PM GMT, but the Monday League is quite self-explanatory. It's on a Monday for the GT3 cars. Of course, we are also in GT3 cars here, but there is a little bit more tuning in this race. Apologies, Anomina started this race on the medium compound tyres, which is why how he was able to go so long on those mediums. So yes, he has of course used two different tyre compounds in this race, having started on the mediums, and has gone for two sets of softs. I thought this would have been more of a medium tyre race, but it looks like the drivers are doing well to keep the front compound tyres, I've said it again, the front compound tyres, the soft compound tyres, the front tyres in good condition through this technical high tyre degrading circuit. I think if the tyre wear was a little bit higher, then we might have seen more from the medium compound tyres. The two Apex drivers though are running in a good position in 4th and 5th place. Project Platypus the next highest with a 1st and a 6th. Could be a 7th though, because here comes Auto on the back of Skyline. Looked to remove on the outside at hairpin 2, but wasn't able to make it stick on the outside. Towards the back of the pack though, Snipes and Thunderdome battling for the wooden spoon essentially. 13th place, Snipes and very worn medium compound tyres. He'll be into the pits again. Thunderdome having just left the pits a couple of laps ago, looking likely to finish this race not last. Skyline though defending the inside line. Auto's going to try and force himself to the inside though. He's found himself on the inside, down towards turn 1, late on the brake. Skyline's later to the outside. And the Audi R8 just enough to get through on the inside and up into 6th place. And it was looking like a great race for Project Platypus. They were 1-2 for the first stint. but Skyline has dropped off the pace a little bit, now running in 7th place, having spent a lot of this race inside the top 3. I think he's been caught up a little bit in the traffic in this race, which has brought the likes of the Apex drivers, Nomina and Auto, back into it. There are drivers making their final pit stops, a couple of them into the pits at the end of lap 35 to see off their medium compound tyres and finish the race on the softs. Meanwhile, at the front of the field, BX Royal has controlled this race. He is leading by 20.2 seconds to Owen in 2nd place, who has a very bizarre strategy, and I don't know how it's worked for him. Well, I mean, I say that, there are 8 laps to go, and that gap between Anomina and Owen is closing rather rapidly with the Aero GT driver on those fresher soft compound tyres compared to Owen's mediums. I imagine he will let Anomina go through and then just try and stick to the back of his teammate. And then maybe swap positions later on in the race if Apex drivers catch up in order to try and defend a 2-3 as best they can. But we're on lap 37 of 44. We're well over the hour mark now in this race. Not long to go. And whoa! Contact between the Auto and Fluffy Butt. I don't think there was a gap on the inside, and that door was always being slammed shut. Both drivers lucky to be staying on the track and in a straight line. Let's have a look at that one more time. That's right on board with Auto. The cornering speed difference, he just has so much overspeed. I don't think Fluffy Butt saw him there or was expecting that from Auto rushing on. But they both live to fight another day. Both Apex drivers, by the way, on the medium compound on the tyres, cars around them on the softs. And so if they can keep their mediums in shape, by the end of the race they might have the advantage over that over the soft runners. There are still 7 laps to go here in the Japanese Grand Prix. Yellow flags in front. Is this one of the leaders? No, it's not. It's the back marker. For a second there I thought one of the race leaders had an incident down towards the first corner. We're though down towards turn 3, watching this 4-way fight for 4th place. The 2 Apex drivers trying to hold on to 4th and 5th place. Here comes Auto though, down the inside, now round the outside for Project Racing United, trying to score as many points for the team as they can. It's the inside for turn 7, the outside for turn 8. Through 100 they go. You can see the grip difference between the medium and the soft compound tyre on these 2 cars. Fluffy Butt though doing enough to stay ahead, has the slipstream from his teammate in front to give him that little bit of a boost down the straights. But blue flags are being waved to, I think is it Whack in 14th? I'm not too sure who had the spin. But with the lap counter ticking down, it's crucial that the drivers on the soft compound tyre get past as quickly as possible. That's an open door for Auto to walk on through down the inside, and a mistake from Fluffy Butt is capitalised by Auto, who moves up into 5th place. Just as I was saying how important it is for the soft compound runners to get their way through the mediums before they begin to fade. and he made a mistake through the final corner, took too much curb, a bit of a slide, because here comes Fluffy Butt to the inside, but he doesn't quite have enough speed to challenge into turn 1. But here comes Skyline. He's had a good turn 1, and he might try and find a gap on the inside for turn 3 perhaps, but he's not quite close enough. But there was an opportunity, closed though by Fluffy Butt. You can see Skyline is trying every opportunity he gets to find an open bit of track. Bumps the back of Fluffy Butt. Fluffy Butt struggling for grip towards the end of this race, sliding his way through 100R. We will give Skyline a more opportunity down towards hairpin 2. Fluffy Butt defends the inside line, but another nudge from Skyline. But he nearly loses the rear and just manages to keep the car in a straight line. These drivers are pushing so hard in the final 5 laps of the Japanese Grand Prix to try and score as many points for the team as they can. Anomina closing down that gap to Owen, now 2.7 seconds. The gap between second and third place, it was 6.5 around lap 33. It's now only 2 seconds. Skyline though on the back of Fluffy Butt through the penultimate corner. 8/10 separating the battle for 6th place. But look how different lines between those two drivers. The gap now 5/10 and closing down the start-finish straight. Auto a second behind Hollywood, who's 3 seconds behind Anomina. These drivers could close in on the back of Owen, who's just been overtaken by Snipes down towards turn 1. This is not what the Brit would had in mind, to be overtaken by a back marker. Now, what happened in towards turn 1? That's how Snipes has ended up in this battle for 2nd place, dropping the rear of the car through the first corner. He has been shown the blue flags, but if he thinks he's quicker, he does have every right to overtake and pull away. If not, he will have to concede the position and let the leaders go through. Like, what did I say 20 laps ago? The same thing happened in Deep Forest. The way that the strategies have played out tonight, the drivers were separated, the gaps were expanding towards the halfway phase of this race. But as we draw closer to the checkered flag, the drivers converge on one another with the different fuel loads, different tyre wear, different compounds on the car. And we could have a 4-car fight for 4th. And this could be a 6-way fight for 2nd place, depending on how Owen can, how much tyre life he can keep on those medium compound tyres. Pitted really early at the start of the race to get off of the softs. He listened to me. It's been a medium compound race for him. Everyone else though has favoured, I think, 2 sets of softs, or at least took the softs a lot longer than Owen did. Auto closing up to the back of Hollywood towards the end of this race on those soft compound tyres, but they are beginning to wear. It's not going to be too long between the grip runs out on those softs and he'll start lapping at a similar pace to the mediums, and then the medium runners will be going faster. Lindstrom started up in 3rd place, now finds himself running in 5th. It's been a good race for Hollywood, 4th to 4th. Owen as well, up from 5th, now running in 2nd, but that gap beginning to stabilise at about 3 seconds. The softs running out of performance on Anomina's Porsche. Now we're beginning to see the crossover between the medium and the soft compound tyre, and it looks like it's going to be dry to the end of the race. comes Auto Rachelon looking for an attack on Hollywood with 3 laps to go here in the Japanese Grand Prix. Can the Apex driver just hold off Project Racing United in the closing stages of this race? Hollywood defending the inside, both Apex drivers having to defend towards the end of the race. It'd be a great finish for them if they can hold on to 4th and 5th. They had a tough time out in Deep Forest with only one of them scoring a decent haul of points. That was Fluffy Butt winning the Swiss Grand Prix. I already see Run It on the racetrack. I can't quite remember if there were any post-race penalties that changed the order of that race, but here comes Auto Rachelon looking for a move down the inside and towards turn 10, behind as well Fluffy Butt, just about to keeping Skyline behind in the dying stages of this race. They can see the cars in front, they can see the chance of a podium. Have they got performance left in those medium compound tyres to push for that spot on the podium? That gap is coming down 2.3 seconds. It's crucial for Hollywood that he defends this position if he wants a chance at a podium, but it's crucial for Auto Rachelon if he wants a podium to get past Hollywood before Hollywood gets past Anomina. There's no questioning who's leading or winning this race. BX Royal has led a commanding race, 23 seconds, starting the penultimate lap of the race. Here comes Apex Hollywood though, through the final corner, 2 seconds off the podium, 4/10 ahead of Auto Rachelon. Behind, Fluffy Butt's just got a little bit of a comfortable gap to Skyline, who's made a mistake. He's ran wide through turn 1, gravel being thrown and kicked up onto the racing line. I think he's lost performance in his front left tyre, especially on those mediums. He's now dropped 2 seconds behind Fluffy Butt, and that could be a chance of a top 6 finish over for the German. But what about a spot on the top 3 for Hollywood? How much does he push to try and get second place? Anomalous soft compound tyres, they're dying, they're going off. He could puncture on the last lap of the race. 1.5 seconds is the gap, but here comes Auto Rachelon. Less than 2/10 behind Hollywood. He's going to send it into turn 11, but he's not quite close enough to go for it. Meanwhile as well, the battle for 10th place between Thunderdome and Whack Jumps for the final spot inside the top 10. The Apex driver trying to score as many points for the team as he can, trying to keep Jax behind him, whilst those soft compound tyres are beginning to fade on the Nissan GTR. Thunderdome's mediums have a little bit more life left in them. Both of them nearly losing the rear of the car through the hairpin wide, going in towards 100R. Back up to the race leaders though. Anomina 1.5 seconds ahead of Hollywood, who's half a second clear of Auto Rachelon. Down the start finish straight in towards turn 1. I think Hollywood has the gap on this lap to stay ahead down going in towards the first corner, but can he stay ahead by the time they get to turn 3? The gap 0.6 of a second. Whack Jams has picked up a half-second penalty in his pursuit of a top 10 finish, and will have to serve that on the last lap. It's going to have to be a mistake from Thunderdome if he's to finish inside the top 10. But what about the battle for the final spot on the podium? Apex Hollywood is close that gap to nearly a second to Anomina. He's beginning to pull away from Auto Rachelon. I think the softs are beginning to fade, and they're fading fast. Yellow flags. It's not for anyone inside the top 5. I think that's Snipes who's gone off. Indeed it is. His day goes from bad to worse. But what about the battle for third place? Can Anomina hold on those dying soft compound tyres? But quickly, from pole to the win, BX Royal rounds the final corner. He controlled this race from start to finish. He wins the Japanese Grand Prix and takes home maximum points in Lobby B for the Project Platypus team. Meanwhile, Owen Williams is set to finish in second place, but what about the battle for third? Onomina hanging on for dear life. He's got 3 corners to go. Here comes Hollywood hunting him down every step of the way. Has he got the grip? Has he got the run to try something? Through the final corner they go. Can Anonymous hold on to the final spot on the podium? It's a drag race to the line, but he just about holds on to third place. Hollywood in 4th, Auto in 5th, Flappy Butt in 6th, only a 10th behind, finishing inside the top 5. Skyline, he struggled in the second half of this race, but will still cross the line in 7th place ahead of Prime Cole in 8th. Lord Isildur, he was involved in the action at the start of the race, but has had a quiet stint on the hard compound tyres, and he's made it work for him to finish in 9th place. I think Thunderdome will finish in 10th place, with Whack Jumps having that penalty on the last lap, which hindered any chance of a top 10 finish. Isildur finishes in 9th. Thunderdome a little bit wide through the final penultimate corner, but he's not going to be too bothered about that. He crosses the line and secures a top 10 for Apex. Whack in 11th place. Oricus in 12th. Did lead a couple of laps though, having started from the back. Mortal finishes in 13th and Snipes in 14th place. There is your race winner. From the pole to the race victory for BX Royal. There is your finishing grid once again. Let's go through the order. BX Royal with the win here tonight for Project Platypus. He started on pole and he finished in 1st. Aero GT with a great result for their team. Owen beating out Anomina to 2nd place. Between those two drivers, Hollywood just missing out of a top 3 in 4th. Auto Echelon in 5th. Fluffy Butt in 6th. Skyline in 7th with the fastest lap of the race, a 44.6 for that bonus point. Prime Cole in 8th place, beating out Lord Isildur in 9th. The highest place Pegasus driver. Not a great day in the office for them, with 9th, 13th and 14th. Thunderdome finishes inside the top 10, with Whack Jumps just missing out in 11th. Oricus on his debut in 12th, with Mortal Velas in 13th and Snipes in 14th place. He may have been 14th, but he wasn't too far off the lap times of the drivers inside the top 8. Thank you everyone so much for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed this action from the ALR Esports League Season 4, round number 3 here at Autopolis for Lobby B. Lobby A is still going on, so if you want to catch the final few laps of that, go ahead, click off this video and go tune in to those guys, but you have to promise me that you are subscribed and like this video before you do that. My name's Nathan. I will be joining you guys at the same time next week for round number 4, where these drivers will have to take on the challenges of, I believe it's Lago Maggiore, for 35 laps of that track in Italy. Should be a fun one. Lago's a great circuit and I'm looking forward to it. Hope you guys are as well. Hope you enjoyed the commentary. Of course, I'm new to the commentary box here at ALR, trying to do the best job I can to provide the live action and entertainment for you viewers watching. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. From me, it's goodbye.